tell you that the barrio is a bad place to live, but I grew up in this neighborhood, and I'm proud to say I'm from here. Me and my brothers, we take care of our own, and we look out for our community. That's why our neighborhood is number one, and that's why, for sure, man, there's no place I'd rather be.
The life Jaime Valdez talks about may seem good, but there's another side to the story. A story of fear, hate, and violence. A story of a community in a state of siege, paralyzed by a threat from which no one is safe. Combating that threat is one of the toughest challenges the law enforcement officer must face. Street gang violence is not a new phenomenon. For lawless gangs of urban youth have been a fixture of life in our bigger cities for more than a century. Today, however, the gangs are a subject of growing national concern, for their influence is no longer confined to the central cities. With startling swiftness, the blight of gang violence has spread to outlying communities. Suburban, middle-class neighborhoods once thought to be comfortably far removed from this threat to life and property. Out of new social stresses, the new gangs have emerged. Bigger, tougher, more mobile than the gangs of the past, and armed with deadly weaponry. From area to area across the country, the names of the gangs may vary, but the message remains the same. A desperate disregard for personal security and the worth of human life. With over 10,000 members in the Los Angeles area alone, the gangs constitute an ominous force. A force that has brought a virtual state of war to the streets of our cities, jeopardizing the safety of every citizen and adding to the already difficult task that faces all branches of law enforcement. In the beginning, life is innocent and free. And children who will one day be hated enemies play together in harmony. But by early adolescence, many of the kids, responding to peer pressures and to traditions that may span several generations, turn to the gangs for pride, for excitement, for a sense of belonging. To its members, the gang, or club, or clique, or neighborhood is an identity, a defense against the world. But while belonging to a gang is a harmless inclination of many youngsters, in the ghetto, the gang is far removed from fun. It is a powder keg waiting to explode. On a typical weekend night, Whittier Boulevard in East Los Angeles is jammed bumper to bumper with carloads of cruising gang members. Here in this no-man's land between the territories of the various gangs, anger, frustration, and pride can turn in a moment to violence. And no insult, real or imagined, is permitted to go unanswered.
Christ, we reverently bring the body of our brother to be buried in its human imperfections. May God give him a merciful judgment and forgive all his sins. And may Christ, the Good Shepherd, lead him safely home to be at peace with God our Father.
He was drunk. They went down to the boulevard to Whittier. And he asked the guys, where are you from? They tell him from the avenues, and the hassle just started because they killed one of his friends, so he turned around and shot them.
Like I told you, my dad and my brother-in-law are from Mariana. In their days,
They told me that gang fight was a good gang fight because everybody used to fight with hands, a couple of sticks, and maybe a couple of chains.
A gang is a small army in the community which people get together to protect themselves from outsiders.
We asked several gang members if they, personally, had ever killed anyone.
I want nothing to do with that question.
I'd rather not answer.
No comment.
Yes, I have. Believe it or not, I felt proud. I thought it was big, you know, but looking back at it now, it's stupid. You know, I really think it's dumb.
After, everything that's happened to me, being involved in a gang, I guess I would shoot somebody, if I caught them, in my neighborhood, if I had a gun on me or something,
It isn't hard to get a gun, especially a hot gun.
Well, I also carry a machete, 38 snug nose or 22, a 25 automatic.
If they're going to a party, the girls will have it in them or in their purse.
Yeah, but they don't find them. I hide them in my moccasin boots or in my bra.
Because the guys always get checked, the girls don't. When the sheriffs, if the sheriffs were to pull over the guys and the girls are there, the girls just stand aside and the guys are the ones that get frisked. And the cars get turned upside down or whatever. The girls don't get checked.
Well, we was at a party off of Western, and this guy, it was a Crip party. So this guy came in, barging himself to the party. So what we did, the Crips fought him, so I jumped in and I stabbed him. I don't know how many times I stabbed him.
My homeboy Flocka was killed in a party, was set up. We got into it, and he got killed. I figured that, and eventually I'll get some payback, but he's like a part of the family to me.
The gang is virtually all my family. And in order, like myself, everybody living in a ghetto such as this has to get into a neighborhood. You either get into a neighborhood or you get killed.
Many gangs actively recruit very young members. Because of their special status under the law, these youngsters may at times serve a function as hitmen.
My name is Danny and I'm from Hickory. And I got in, I was 10 years old and now I'm 12. And you get courted in by, they jump you. Certain people from Hickory, they jump you. They beat you up. A few guys get you and they beat you up.
Well, it's like an initiation, My older brothers, I don't know if they got jumped in, but they wanted me to get jumped in, so that's how I got in,
Well, I want to be like the guys from the same gang, because I knew a lot of them where I lived, because they all lived in my block. No, I don't go to school now. Yes, I tried to go to Virgil, but the gangs are trying to jump me. I tried to go to Gage too, but they tried to jump me there too. Because at Virgil, one of my friends, he fought with another guy in camp, and he told him that he got friends in Virgil, Hickory, so they got me. They wanted to get us, so we just left him in school.
I don't want, I wouldn't want to die, but if I have to, to help one of my friends, because I know they would, if one of my friends was to see me getting jumped, I know they would help me, because I've been around, and I know who would help me and who won't help me.
One of my boys got stuck in Manuard High by the rims, fruit towels, anything, Crip killers. We would go and pick a car, round up, make phone calls, call all the fellas, and everybody knows there's a meeting going and they must be there. It's no ifs, ands, buts about, I can't come, you gotta be there. And then we throw a meeting and whoever don't come, we'll suffer the consequences later after we take care of what we gotta do. It's exciting. I mean, there's always something happening. Different things, like maybe when you were younger going for a joyride in a hot car or something. Just getting together with the homeboys, having a couple of drinks, talking about old times. That's good. get together and, you know, we get whacked, which is, you know, when I say whack, you know, smoke that dust and go out and make a move, you know, and in the process of making a move and making money, you know, the dust is already in our mind, you know, just going and might tear off a couple of guns, and one of the homeboys might say, well, hey, dog, let's ride on the Denver lanes, you know. I might say, well, splendid cars, you know, and we get on and go make a bus right there, you know.
We did robberies, but we were always out in Hollywood, snatching purse, or we would go to a bar or something and let somebody pick us up and drive for a certain amount where we know where the Crips are at, and we'll set it up right there.
The criminal activities of the gangs place the gang members in frequent contact with the police.
I really don't like the police because, well, even though if we're not gangbanging, if we're just sitting there having a good time, they harass us, you know.
Police, they could die. They all could die. I hate them.
The gang's feelings toward the police and toward the world in general are emphatically expressed in wall paintings and graffiti. The most visible sign of gang activity in a neighborhood.
Okay, the writing on the wall is a means of advertising for your gang, because you're all trying to get that advertisement. That's why people write on the wall, in order to show you're number one and you're going to brag about it. It's a means of bragging, and it's just like a company goes out and advertising, like Ford, the brighter idea people.
It just lets other people know what this neighborhood is, you know, like I go into another area and, you know, I just write my name, you know, let them know that I've been there, you know.
I wrote on the wall to show many people, you know, that I was there. You know, I was still walking the streets, you know. Put my reputation up on the wall.
In many respects, gang graffiti is the newspaper of the streets. A directory of current gang members and a measure of the gang's influence in the area. But the graffiti is not the only form of gang advertising, for members of the gangs often use hand signals to proclaim their affiliation.
Well, for instance, like Peru's, their hand signs are like this here. For us, the Crips is like this here, which is, you know, Mafia Crips this way, you know. Like you have West Side Brim would be something like this here. LA Outlaws like this. And you have somewhat like Pueblo Bishops, which is a hand signal like this here. And you might have the Denver Lane for West Side this way, you know. When I say West Side, you know, it's all like this here in one, you know.
Tattoos are another way that gang members identify one another and advertise their exploits.
Most guys that are from the neighborhoods, you know, they're not ashamed to say, you know, I'm from this neighborhood. They're proud of being from that neighborhood, so they put their neighborhood on them to show other guys, you know, hey, you know, I'm like, if I had my neighborhood on me, and, you know, I was proud to show it.
Here, for instance, this is where I'm from. That's my town, Compton. That's my nickname. That's most all of the gang members, you know, they have their nickname tattooed somewhere on them, and I have mine here.
I got a HW, and I got a cross on my middle finger.
Membership in the gangs is no longer confined to adolescence alone. For in many cases, the gang is a matter of a lifetime commitment. And even if a gang member wanted to leave, the procedure for getting out would discourage all but the most determined from trying.
You know, you can't just walk away, you know. If you want to get out, they just hold a meeting, you know, call all the guys together and say, hey, this guy wants to get out, huh? And they initiate you out. And it's not the same as you're getting in, because when you're getting out, they go, you know, to really hurt you, not to, you know, see what you can do.
You know, the Pirus tell us that once a Crip, always a Crip. Whether you're Crippin' or not, this lifetime war life?
Because I was born up in the neighborhood, and I'd rather, be like that till I die. For my neighborhood, I cry. For my neighborhood, I die.
As long as I live here in East LA, my children will get involved because of everybody. It's just so tight. It's a traditional thing. It's so tight in the East LA area that if I have my kids living here, growing up here, they'll eventually belong to a gang.
I would talk to them. I would tell them that Michael and Mom, I was out there. I know what it is, and it's not nothing to play with. It's not, it's not easy out there as you think it would be, But if you're out there, do it right, Don't go out there being nothing, or carry yourself as nothing to be somebody, Write your name and do whatever. Have plans for yourself while you're out there gangbanging. Don't be a nothing gangbang,
With the cycle of gang violence well established, and with the gangs deeply entrenched in the tradition of the neighborhoods, few gang members hold out much hope for the future.
I don't think it'll ever work. We've tried to get along with other gangs before, and it didn't last very long. It's just something would happen, certain reasons, somebody does something that another guy doesn't like from another gang, and that starts a whole thing,
Despite repeated attempts by community agencies to end the epidemic of violence, the gang killings and other crimes continue to increase. As a result of widespread community alarm, mounting pressure has been brought to bear upon enforcement agencies to stem the tide of lawlessness. For the influence of the gangs is not confined to the barrio or the ghetto. The expansion of robberies, burglaries, and rapes into the wider community is threatening the lives and property of all. While the challenge is great, there is much that every law enforcement officer can do to help keep the gangs in check. Fundamental to the approach is the fact that gangs thrive on notoriety within the community and anonymity within the criminal justice system. By understanding the gangs and how they work, the law enforcement officer may cut through this shield of anonymity. And by moving decisively to remove the hardcore offender from the streets, he may help to weaken the gang hierarchy, effectively undermining the foundation upon which the gang depends. Gang graffiti can provide the officer with a wealth of information on the shifting patterns of inter-gang relations, plus a current roster of gang members identified by their aliases or monikers, and the hand signals which gang members use, as well as the tattoos they wear, can be invaluable sources of information on gang affiliations. It's also well to remember when searching gang members for weapons that the girls may be carrying the guns. Though the gangs themselves may endure, the prospect now exists that through effective law enforcement, the chain of violence may at last be broken, and our cities may once again be rendered safe for all our citizens.